right, welcome to another episode of the LogiCast. My name is BlankaKong. I'm joined with Gunner Eos today. Just a two-man
Hello.
show. Today's episode is going to be about 2023 or gaming in 2023. It's been a hell of a year as far as game releases are concerned, and we still have a few more months left in the year, and it's looking pretty healthy with a lot of great games with, quite frankly, no time to play them, or maybe in some cases not enough money to buy everything, or maybe both problems, right? You don't have enough money to buy everything, plus you don't have the time to play this shit. But yeah, 2023 has been an incredible year for gaming. It's just a lot of great games that have come out, that are coming out, from indie titles to AAA titles. It's been a banger year for gamers across pretty much all platforms, which, you know, can't say the same for other years, right? If you look back at 2020, 2021, you know, those years were pretty dry with game releases.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking 4 months with nothing substantial. To then come 2023, there's like a major title every single month for the entire year. That's like pretty unheard of. So
Yeah. I think it's safe to say that the gaming industry has kind of gotten back into the swing of things. You know,
Yep.
obviously the worldwide shutdown kind of slowed everything down. That partially contributes, I would say, contributes to kind of like the slow 2020, 2021, even 2022. But yeah, I think gaming has found its feet, and like you said, they're just a lot of stuff is coming out for multiple consoles. This isn't just a Sony year or a Microsoft year or a
Mhm.
Nintendo year. This is kind of like everybody's got the big hitters coming out.
Even
Some
Xbox with exclusives. I mean, Xbox has had some blunders the past year. Redfall, I'm looking at you, but
Halo Infinite.
well, Halo Infinite came out a few years ago, but I'm talking in regards to like 2023 stuff. You know,
Oh, that's right.
Sony's had
Redfall
blunders.
was
Redfall was
first
this
party.
year, first party, but so was Forspoken on PS5.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Good,
you know,
good
everybody's
point.
got their fumbles. So you know, whatever.
So was Pokemon. All three looking kind of scuffed, but you know, sales numbers are better for one over the other for sure.
True, which is why I can't really shit on it too hard. But Pokemon was a 2022 title, and 2022 was pretty healthy. That's the year we got Elden Ring, and Elden Ring was like incredible.
Game of
So
the year that year, yeah.
you know, we also got God of War Ragnarok as well. So there was good stuff in
Yeah, true.
2022.
Yeah.
So, but 2023 is like what 2022 was plus more. So,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
so yeah, I'm gonna kind of go through each month and bring out or talk about, you know, certain titles that came out in that month. We could just kind of briefly talk about those games and kind of move on from month to month, and then eventually we'll get to current day. This should be publishing in September, and we have a lot of good stuff coming in September. This is being recorded at the end of August technically, so we're still playing Armor Core at the moment, which
Yeah.
is a great August title. We'll get there when we get there, but you know, anyway, let's just get started. So, uh, January, to start the year off, we had what I think the three biggest titles. Well, biggest for different reasons, but we
Okay.
had Forspoken, which was the biggest fucking
Ooh,
failure. That was pretty
um,
bad.
killed the studio, I think.
The studio's gone. Even though this game was super hyped and like a lot of people, I won't say a lot of people. I think there were certain pockets of people out there who were excited for the game and for what the game could be, and it didn't meet expectations, unfortunately, for
No.
those who wanted it to be good.
Yeah, another hit for Square Enix too, because this is coming off the heels of at the time, oh my god, that game from Platinum Studios that didn't even last a year. Um Damn, now I look fake. People will know what I'm talking about. It was made by Platinum and Square Enix published it, and then the server shut down barely a year later. Uh
Thinking Platinum Games, the only thing that's coming to mind is like Bayonetta. I'm sorry.
no,
Um,
yeah. If anybody knows, like, put it in the comments. But I'm pretty sure it was done by Platinum Game, published by Square, and died a death. Like the servers shut down barely a year into the game's lifestyle. Not even fucking near. Not even 2B could save it because the last thing it had was a 2B collaboration. So yeah, Square Enix at the time needed a win and forced
Babylon's Fall.
Babylon's Fall. There you go.
Okay,
There you
okay,
go.
okay.
Yeah, that wasn't a 2023 title, but like that was another big oof to say the least
Yeah,
for Square Enix.
it was a big 2022
Yeah,
blunder for sure.
and they'll never admit it, but numbers for Forspoken are floating around, and that game cost a lot to make. So
Definitely an overinflated budget, but a game that did come out the same time, the same week actually, and was exclusive to Xbox and Game Pass was Hi-Fi Rush, which is a pretty good like rhythm action game. So
yep, dropped out of nowhere, had like almost no advertising, was on Game Pass day one, and just blew Forspoken out of the water. More people were talking about that, playing that, buying that, and goes to show you can have budgets in the millions of dollars, and it doesn't translate to a game people will
it
care
doesn't
about.
guarantee that the game is going to go viral, that everybody's going to stream it and enjoy it. It's not about that, but anyway. Fire Emblem Engage came out that particular month. Big first party game for Nintendo fans and Fire Emblem fans, as well as tactical RPG fans.
Yeah, solid.
Solid game from what I
I
was
gave it a
told. I haven't played it, but I know when it first came out, you and some of the other guys were like speaking very highly of it. So.
Yeah, I to this day I still think the main character's fucking hair color is stupid, and nobody can justify it to me. Who has half red, and what is this, like Pepsi versus Coke battle? I don't know, but the game was solid. It's Fire Emblem. It's modern Fire Emblem, which is the Fire Emblem we're getting. So it wasn't the worst thing. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
And then we also had Dead Space Remake, which was a huge success. I mean, obviously the first game was amazing and holds up very well. You don't even have to play the remake to enjoy it. I think you can play the PS3 or 360 version and have a good time with it. But obviously the remake takes what the original game did and modernizes it and cleans up the graphics and makes it playable on modern platforms. So Dead Space Remake was a big hit for January. 100%.
Yeah, I still need to pick that up myself. I heard it was pretty faithful to the original. There were things that were changed. I won't get into them in this episode. But if you know, you know. But as far as the gameplay is like the overall storyline, I heard they preserved it pretty well. It's just like obviously they could do more because it's on current gen consoles, and they learned from issues of the first game and incorporated those kind of tweaks that people wanted to see into the remake. So I heard good things. I still need to get it myself. I plan on picking it up when I have time.
Yeah, I think the cheapest I've seen it this year is like $40. It doesn't seem to go below that.
Yes, yeah, same.
Can't say the same for Callisto Protocol, but
ooh, yep.
But it bees what it bees, as the kids say.
True that.
So that ends up January. I know I missed a few titles, but I'm only going to talk about a few games. February. February was a big month because a strong contender for Game of the Year, I think. Even though I could care less about the game personally, but Hogwarts Legacy came out in February, and I know there's controversy surrounding that game, or there was, but it doesn't change the fact that this game was very, very well received, very well reviewed. It seems like a very competent, modern game, and I think it's certainly gonna like solidify a spot as a Game of the Year nominee later this year.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. Good wording there. It is a very modern game because I haven't beaten it, but I played it. I didn't have a PlayStation 5 at the time, so I was using a family member's system to play it. It is a very modern game. It's got like your checkpoints, your fast travels, your lookout points. So very modern is the word I'm going to use. But as a non-Harry Potter fan, like I read the first book and half of the second one, didn't really see any of the movies. It was actually a pretty interesting, like I was actually interested in the world the game took place. I was like, oh, okay, so you could tell that the people who developed the game gave a shit about the source material and like did a good job of incorporating it, made it feel like I'm in some like pew pew magic wand world. So pretty good, pretty good.
Yeah, so Hogwarts Legacy. I mean, it came out uh, later in the year for PS4 and Xbox One, and it's coming out for Switch. I think in November. How it's gonna play on Switch, I have no fucking clue. But it's been
It's
pushed back about 4 times.
it's going to be a
So
very different game. So if you have a PlayStation 4 at least and you want to play it, play that version. Pl- The it's we're gonna go back to like the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis days with that game, and I think Hogwarts Legacy on the Switch is going to look and play very differently from the PlayStation 5 version. Very differently.
yeah, so we'll see how that goes. But for February, we also had Kirby's Return to Dreamland, which was, I believe, a remake to the Wii Return to Dreamland game.
I believe
So
so,
you
yeah.
know, another game for Nintendo fans. I didn't play it personally, but it looked like a Kirby game. So not bad, not amazing, not different. Just if you want another Kirby game, there you have it.
There you
I'm still
go.
waiting
Yeah.
for another Donkey Kong, country game. Haven't gotten one since the Wii U, so Kirby fans are at least getting something. Um, we also had Wild Hearts, which I'm interested in playing. I heard good things about it. I know it's slowed down. The community is not what it used to be for that game. That was like the Monster Hunter style, you
Yeah, which
know,
I'm surprised
feudal
when you said that
Japan
to me.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it seems interesting, but it's a very modern take on the hunting genre of games.
Ah,
So I
okay.
don't know if that has something to do with it.
Yeah, because they did well with it. Like it got kind of like the free content updates, like Monster Hunter has done
Hmm.
since World. So it got like new monsters, new weapons, new updates. So it seemed like as far as the development side goes, they seem to like want to keep the game going and cared about the game after launch. But yeah, I was surprised when you said that the community kind of fizzled out for that.
Yeah, that's from what I've read. I don't.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm not a part of it, so I can't
No,
say. I
I
can't
get
speak
that.
from an
Yeah.
inside
Yeah.
position, but a lot of people that were playing it faithfully are no longer playing it, and it's kind of a bit of a forgotten multiplayer game. But yeah,
Yeah.
it seems like a competent game. It's a game that I plan to pick up. I just didn't feel comfortable buying it for full price, if I'm being honest here. So
No,
I'm,
I
I'm,
get that.
I'm waiting
Yeah.
for that $30 mark. I feel like that's a good price point. 25, 30, I can live with that. 70, it felt like a big investment for a game that I don't have anybody to play with because it's primarily a multiplayer game. And I'm like, well, I'm going to play it by myself. So the experience is already going to be lesser. So I don't want to pay a premium value for that. But
Nah,
still looks like
I
a good
get
game.
you. Yeah.
So there's Wild Hearts, and then Metroid Prime Remastered also came out in February as well. So um, I never played the Metroid Prime games. I didn't have a GameCube at the time, but this game looks great. I did pick it up. It's in my collection. I just haven't gotten around to it yet, and I heard nothing but good things. I know you played it, so
Yeah. I played it again, like much like you. I had a GameCube, but I don't know, the Metroid series kind of, not that it didn't appeal, but it just kind of passed me by. I was on that Zelda train. I'm still on that Zelda train, so I didn't really get into Metroid. But I was like, all right, cool. I hear this game is like, if you talk about top 10 Metroid games, Metroid Prime is like mentioned every single time. And I was like, all right, well, the remake's coming out. Metroid Prime 4 is eventually coming out. So I was like, all right, let me get this because Nintendo is probably testing the waters with this one before they give us the other two Metroid Prime games. Bought it, played it, and I can, yeah, I believe the hype. I believe why people like the game. It's for a GameCube game. It's a very competent, very solid, very um, functional first-person shooter game. It's a lot of fun to play, and it still has that Metroid feel where it's a lot of backtracking and hidden rooms to discover. So it's still got that, but it's a competent first-person shooter on top of that. So yeah, I believe the hype. I'm with these guys now.
yeah, that was just the first 2 months of the year. So now
Yeah.
we're getting into March. March to me had two big titles um, that I personally one I enjoyed watching, and the second I enjoyed playing. So the first game was Wulong Fallen Dynasty. I was questioning whether or not this came out this year, but it did in fact come out in March. Esoteric did play it on stream, and he did finish the game, I believe, on stream and everything. So it was a
Yeah, he
full
did.
playthrough.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that game looked like a solid, action adventure style game with like Chinese feudal Chinese like influence, the Chinese dynasties and all that stuff. So if you're
Yeah.
interested in that lore, you'll there's something there for you. But it was also developed by the same guys who did Neo, right?
Yeah, I was like, pretty much, if you're a Neo fan, like you can definitely see the Neo in the game. So it's got that same DNA. So if you're a fan of Neo, you're gonna like Wulong Fallen Kingdom. It's just, instead of Japan, it's China. So it's a lot of similarities in that vein, and a lot of similar game mechanics. So, I liked Neo, so I plan on picking that up at some point. But yeah, I mean, I'm not setting the gaming world on fire, but a competent enough game in that
No,
that
it's a solid
branch of,
release. Solid release.
yeah, yeah,
It's an
yeah,
easy game for me to recommend to people. Like if they play
yeah.
like Neo or Souls games or whatever, and they're looking for something, or even Ninja Gaiden or something akin to
True,
that.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, I could point to Wulong. Go, yeah, you could try Wulong, and I picked up a copy a few months ago for like $32 or whatever. So I thought that was a pretty good price, and I
Oh,
jumped all
really?
over it.
Okay.
So yeah, so Wulong Fallen Dynasty, and then to me the best remake of the year, Resident Evil 4 remake. That game was
Mm.
fucking great. Um, I don't say this about a lot of remakes, but I finally feel like there's a remake of a game that I like, the original of, that I don't have to really go revisit the original for anymore. Because like
Yeah.
if you look at so if we're looking at Resident Evil, just as an example, Resident Evil 3 original to me trumps the remake 100 times over, right? I have to go back to the original 3. 2 and 2 remake I think are very close, but there's still a certain magic that the original 2 still has that I think was captured pretty well in the remake, but doesn't entirely replace the original. With 4, on the other hand, I think 4 was so good and so faithful that it kind of replaces the original in like almost every measurable way to me.
No, I could agree with that. I got to play it thanks to you,
Mm-hmm.
and like, yeah, pretty much you kind of nailed it on the head. Like, it still feels like Resident Evil 4. It still feels very action oriented. You have like they even made it more actiony. You can parry with your knife now, which is crazy. Um, like, the action is still there. The whole organization, the buying the guns, the buying the briefcase, that's all there. So they kept all that, and they just added more to it. Like, they took out what I think, which they easily could have kept and probably went harder on if they wanted to. The whole action command thing, they pretty
Mm-hmm.
much took most of that out. I don't think there are action commands in the game anymore. I don't.
There are, but they're very inconsequential. Like they're not
Yeah,
in there
yeah,
as often, and they're not as like force as they
yeah.
used to
So,
be.
like, one of the iconic fights of the game, the Leon versus Krauser knife fight. Whereas before, I hope you memorized the GameCube controller layout because you're gonna need it. This one actually felt like a real fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you really had to know the knife parry system, and it was actually really fun fighting Krauser that way. So that was a huge improvement. And they actually made Ashley more of a character instead of
Yeah.
just chick that's there. So like her story segments were one more than the original game, and they were actually fun. Like, she didn't bust out a bazooka and start shooting people, but like, hers were a lot more tense because she had no way to defend herself. And I actually enjoyed her gameplay segments a lot compared to the original. So yeah, you're right. I think if I play 4, it's gonna be the remake unless I'm feeling super nostalgic and I want to go back to like the early to mid 2000s and play the original.
Now, listen, there are some very small, very minute flaws with the game, like Ada's voice actor or voice
Yeah.
actress isn't good at all. It's really monotone, and the original is way better. But besides that, I feel like the rest of the game is pretty fucking like top tier.
Compared to 3 remake and the huge
Wow,
disappointment that was.
that's not even like a fair comparison if we're
Yeah.
being honest here. But yeah, 4 remake is fucking great. It's because it's such a great game because it's such a great remake because the original 4 was just so good and so ahead of its
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
that they had a really good foundation to work off of, and so it was just a matter of just making it feel the same but play in a more modern setting, and that's just a combination for like a great
Yeah,
fucking game
exactly.
experience.
Capcom knew what they had. They were like, "Why are we gonna reinvent the wheel? The wheel's already here. Let's just shine it up and put some new chromes."
Yeah, just polish it and that's it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so
exactly.
Resident Evil 4 remake, highly, highly, highly recommend. Even if you're not an RE4 fan or RE fan in general, I think it's just a really good game, just in general. Like you don't need to play the first 3 or anything like that. Just the game has enough individuality to stand on its own as a very good game for any gaming library, whether you have an Xbox or a PlayStation or if you're on PC.
Agreed. Yeah.
So moving on to April, April had some, I would say, smaller titles, but the biggest title of April was Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which I did play a little bit of the original Fallen Order, and I thought that game was pretty good, pretty solid game. So I think this is, if you played the first one, you enjoyed that. Obviously, this is a game you could play as well and jump into. It did have some hiccups, I think, graphically and like performance has some
Heck
performance
yeah.
issues in the beginning, but
Yeah.
go ahead.
To my knowledge, it's still not 100% because I recently got a PS5 and I was looking to get that game and I heard it's still not. They're still working on it. I don't think they've abandoned it, but I could be wrong as at the time this video comes out. But from what I remember reading, like it still has issues. It's not as bad as it was before, but like
Mm.
the issues are there, which that's a whole nother podcast topic about games coming out in the states they do. But that's unfortunate because in the Star Wars universe, depending on who you ask, it's either been great or Star Wars has been shit. Like there is no in between. And the Jedi, the Fallen Order, that series of games was actually a really like bright spot in the Star Wars universe. It was a good solid Star Wars game that this is coming from EA, mind you. Didn't have a ton of microtransactions or battle passes or anything like that. It was just a video game. So to see it suffer from these technical issues kind of marred an otherwise competent game from what I heard. Like I heard it's an actual good sequel, but the technical issues you can't overlook them. So take that for what you will.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want it to seem like I'm just talking about the good of every game. Like every game is perfect because it's
Yeah.
not. Like each game has its own like difficulties or
Yeah.
flaws or missteps or whatever. And so, but I still think it's a strong title in general. It's definitely the strongest title in the month of April for 2023 releases.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Yeah.
I still think it's worth investing into, and it's definitely worth like if you get it for like $50, I think you're not going to regret it, even with some performance issues here and there. I think it's from the streams that I've watched of the game. The game looks solid. Like it looks like a solid
Yeah.
20 to 30 hour adventure game in the Star Wars universe. So if that's what you're looking for, then look no further than Star Wars Jedi Survivor. The other game releases that I wanted to highlight are Mega Man Battle Network Collection, which is a game that I never
Yeah, boy.
thought we would see.
No,
Um,
nope.
I never thought we would see that collection manifest in modern games, but here it is. It came out and it sold pretty well for a bunch of fucking Game Boy Advance games on a
Yep.
Switch cartridge. So, take that for
Do
what
the
you
right
will.
do the right thing, Capcom. Legends 1 and 2. Come on.
Oh, I don't know about that one. I want it. Don't get me wrong,
Bro,
but
Battle Network, I'm like, nah. I mean, it has a ton of games, but I thought that game was gonna die with the GBA. It's been in hiatus forever. So
yeah, true. Legends 1 and 2, and if they do it, they got to do it right? Got to be Legends 1 and 2 along with the Misadventures of Trombone. And
oh
the
god,
demo
yeah.
that they never released of Mega Man Legends 3 just to gauge interest.
Yeah.
Give us everything, Capcom. But
Oh man,
I'm not gonna
Tron
hold my breath.
bonds, scalpers will be in shambles after that.
Hey, listen. I downloaded it on my Vita and PS3 for the $5 or whatever they asked for. So I have it, and I also have it emulated. So I'm not too concerned. But I would love to have a physical form of
Yes,
that
yeah.
game. God knows I ain't paying $400 for a PS1
Whew.
game. That's insane. But anyway, Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reloaded. I think that's what instead of
Correct.
remastered they call it Reloaded.
Yeah.
That came out. I picked it up. I didn't play it yet. It's in the collection. But I know this is a game that this is a franchise that you're a big fan of.
Yeah,
So
I mean, and it's gonna sound really weird. I don't have it yet. So I guess something else, probably like some JRPG or something, came out, and I just couldn't get around to it. I know it's a first-party game. It's not gonna disappear. It's not gonna jump up to $500. The reason why I didn't pick it up immediately on top of the other thing I just mentioned was because I'm not a big fan of how they changed the art style. What I liked about the original Advance Wars was it was kind of like pixely soldiers and tanks, and this one they made it full 3D, which some people would go, "Oh, but that's cool. That means it's more modern." And it's like, yeah, sure, but you never played Advance Wars because it was a modern military strategy game. I mean, for the love of God, when you shoot the soldier, they kind of flick off the screen like you flick a bug. So it was like never for the realism. But that art style was kind of endearing. And to see that not return and for it to be a 3D, I don't know, just that's unfortunate. But yeah, I mean, it's Advance Wars 1 and 2. I wanted to support it to maybe get another Advance Wars. Clearly, I didn't do that. So, not that my $65 was the cinch, the clincher to get a new Advance Wars, but yeah, that's kind of my reasoning. I always hope that we'll get a new Advance Wars, maybe one day, but I'm gonna pick it up. I'm still a fan of the Advance Wars series. Just
yeah, I mean,
as you
listen,
see this video, there's a lot coming out.
listen. It's an expensive hobby, gaming, and it's also a time consuming one. It's
Yeah.
impossible to play everything, and that's kind of why we're doing this podcast topic is to highlight what a fucking jam packed year it's been so far, and will continue to be in the future moving forward. So that listen, as far as I'm concerned, you didn't lose your Advance Wars fan card, so to speak, or anything like that. Like you're a fan,
Ooh,
you're a fan. Name 200 Advance Wars right now, right? Like no, you're good. And to be fair, like Advance Wars launched at $60, which I
that was
think
another
is
thing.
that's a
Yeah.
rough ask for a remake of a bunch of two GBA games that are tactical. It's like even Mega Man Legend. See, that's Freudian
There you
slip.
go.
Mega Man Battle Network Collection, I felt was like a big ass at 60, but you got like 8 games or something like that. So I was like, all right, it kind of, like that feels like there's a lot of value there. But with Advance Wars, just having 1 and 2 was just like, really?
If
Like,
they if they put what is it? Advance Wars 1 and 2 and Second Strike, which was essentially Advance Wars 3. No, actually there was an Advance Wars 3. They were all on GBA. If they put 1, 2 and 3, I think that might have
they should have
went
had
over
1, 2, and
better.
if it was going to be a $60 game, it should have been 1, 2, 3, and the one that was on DS, which was like Ages of Ruin or something of Ruin,
That
Days
was
of Ruin.
Yeah, that was the other one. The other one was Second Strike. Second Strike and Days of Ruin were the last, to my knowledge, ones to come out on DS. It was 3 GBAs. Advance was 1, 2, 3, and then those two on the DS.
Yeah, even if they just did a direct port and didn't have to like fluff up the graphics or whatever for the DS ones, I feel like okay, 60 I can live with that. That feels
Yeah.
fine. But Advance Wars 1 and 2 should have been a $40 to $50 game, and at 50 is a bit
I
of a
think
stretch.
I would say 50, but because they did only 50 because they did do, whether you hate the new art style or not, they did put work into that.
Mhm.
But yeah, 65. I think now that you bring it up, I think that's another reason why I didn't jump on that right away. Yeah.
yeah, so like, and not to like harp on this particular topic, I had to look it up real quick. Pikmin 1 and 2 is getting a relaunch on Switch, and it's launching at $50. So it's like, what happened here with Advance Wars? Like, I feel like that was a misstep on Nintendo's part, and the game didn't sell as well as they, I think, wanted it to. And I think that $60 price point had a lot to do with that. So
right, and then the unfortunate thing is they'll see that and go, oh, I guess the people don't want a new Advance Wars game. It's like,
yeah,
no, it's not necessarily that. I mean, Advance Wars was never Nintendo's main franchise, but you kind of set yourself up for disappointment when you make it a pretty big asking price.
that's
So
just my opinion and our opinion on it. If you feel differently, let us know in the comments. But let's
yeah,
move on.
definitely.
I feel like we put a lot of time into Advance Wars. So May, there's only one title to talk about: Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's be real. I'm
shit.
sorry, other May titles, but Zelda was
What
like it for May.
what the fuck was even? I don't even know what else was in
I mean, I could
May.
look, but like it was pretty slim pickings. But while I look at that, I'll let you gush about Zelda real quick.
Yeah, I mean, I went ham on Zelda. I am a simp. I'm not even gonna deny that. I got the Switch. I already own a Switch. It works perfectly well. I got the collector's edition OLED that came out. Thanks to Kong, I was able to get the collector's edition. Still not the Master Sword edition, but it is what it is. Maybe one day it'll fall into my lap. The fucking goddess of light will bestow it upon me. We'll see. But I got the collector's edition for that one. I bought the amiibo. The didn't have the strategy guide at the time, but I'm gonna pick that up. So needless to say, I'm a fan. To sum that whole little spiel up, I'm a fan. I mean, it's Zelda. It's a good game. It's not a 10 out of 10, and I know that's shocking to a lot of people. Me having time with the game, I'm maybe I'm an old man yelling at clouds, but I like older style Zelda a little bit more than Breath of the Wild, and I kind of hope Nintendo gives us one of those styles of games in the future, even if it's a remake. There's rumors of like Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, so we'll see what becomes of that. So besides that, I mean, the game is phenomenal. It's great. If you want to get lost for hours on Hyrule and discovering every nook and cranny, you're gonna like it. It's fundamentally the same system as the first game, just with a new sky and a new depths mechanic. So yeah, I'm just a boomer when it comes to Zelda, but Tears of the Kingdom was definitely like the king of May as far as I'm concerned.
I think it's gonna win Game of the Year.
You're
There's a lot
probably
of
right.
other great games that came out this year and are coming out this year. I think there's some solid contenders. I think Zelda has his work cut out for him, or
Yeah, it's
it.
it's not really yeah, it's not really as like one-sided as it was when Breath of the Wild
Yeah,
dropped, and yeah, I think yeah, this, Tears of the Kingdom has got some competition this year
100%.
for sure.
I think I think Final Fantasy is going to secure a spot in the Game of the Year nominee section. Tears of the Kingdom, Hogwarts Legacy, Spider-Man 2. I think those are going to be like up there. Starfield is another one. I would love to see Armor Core up there just for the sake of it. It's not going to win,
I mean that would make me chuckle.
I could see those 5 games that I just mentioned like really pushing jockey for position for Game of the Year, and any one of them could win. Um, my heart tells me it's going to be Zelda because it has the nostalgia, plus it has the Breath of the Wild, strings to it as well. So like anybody
Yeah,
who played Breath of the Wild is going to immediately kind of favor Tears of the Kingdom because of the. So it has a lot going in. It's kind of a stacked deck. But Tears of the Kingdom, I didn't finish it. I did start it. I played for like 30 hours, and I just didn't have the time to like invest into it, or I didn't make the time. And then other stuff would come out, and and now it's been like 2 months since I played it. So
yeah.
I
I
do
mean
plan to go
it's a
back to
lot
it.
unless you like mainline the story mode. There's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very deep, expansive game. So, highly recommended. Like this is the if anybody asks me like, oh, what's the one Switch game I should get for my Switch? It's like, yeah, Zelda. Like it's either Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. It doesn't matter. Just get one of those games.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That and Mario Kart and Smash Brothers are like those are the three must-haves for any like Switch owner, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. I could agree. Yeah.
So that's Zelda. June was pretty hefty. June's usually not a strong video game month, but it was this year. We had Street Fighter 6, which was well received. I picked it up and I enjoyed it immensely for the short time that I did play, and I do plan to go back to it at some point.
I mean, it's a fighting game, right? You can. It's not going anywhere. It's gonna.
Yeah,
It'll be there. Yeah.
it'll be there. It has some single player content if I want to delve into that. The new mechanics that they've added, the drive mechanics that have been just great. Like it's a breath of fresh air. It really like evens the playing field and in a good way. So I welcome Street Fighter, all the Street Fighter 6 new mechanics and even the art style was tremendous improvement compared to 5.
I've
Some
heard
of the
that. Yeah.
yes, some of the new characters were really interesting and pretty cool. So yeah, Street Fighter 6 is highly recommended for any fighting game fan. We also had Diablo 4 come out. I'm not a Diablo guy, so but I know it's a big title, it's a big release. There's a lot of big Diablo fans. I know it sold really well, but I know there's also a lot of controversy surrounding Diablo as well.
Yeah, Diablo's rough. Good luck to those Diablo fans. It is rough. The monetization's pretty wild. The content is there or not there, depending on who you ask. It's always online, so
not a fan of that.
If Blizzard servers are having a bad day or your internet's having a bad day, you might not be playing Diablo, and you might only have an hour or 2 hours to play, and servers are down. So, go read a book or something.
Unfortunately, that's a symptom of just new age modern gaming.
Yeah.
But another big release was Final Fantasy 16, which I think is a huge PlayStation 5 title. It's probably the biggest PS5 title behind Spider-Man 2 for the year. I know it's from what I gather, it had a very strong week 1. I don't know how it's doing, up until now. Like I don't think Square Enix is like showcased or bragged about anything,
which is kind of indicative of how the game did, because trust me, if it sold 3 billion copies in its first week, Square Enix would have put that up on every fucking social media platform and blasted out an email to everybody saying, "Oh god, this game sold trillions of copies." So the fact that they didn't do that means it probably didn't perform as well as they wanted to, and they're just kind of like keeping quiet about it. I don't know. Again, another boomer take from me. I'm not a big fan of Devil May Final Fantasy, which is what this is. The combat is Devil May Cry. Like, if you like Devil May Cry combat, you will like 16. It is competent. Like, the combat is solid, but the game, the characters, the world, it's not bad, and I don't hate it as much as I hate 15. I'm just super apathetic towards it, and I just got bored of it. Like, the side quests are garbage. And this is coming from a guy who's played a bunch of JRPGs. The side quests are literally fetch quests or go here, kill X thing. That's it. Those are all the side quests. And it's just like, oh, this is
but that's par for the course, right? Like, that's kind of just a video gamey thing.
It is, but like a lot of video games tend to hide it better, or JRPGs tend to hide it better, or they'll break them up. Or there's like a little bit of a story narrative to go along with it, so you're distracted from the fetch quest by the story. A lot of 16 side quests are literally just, get me 3 herbs. Oh, thanks for the herbs. Now I can heal my friends. Quest finished. That's it. So it's a lot more glaring when it comes to it, because it's not hidden well, in my opinion. So
I hear you.
Yeah, that's my 10-second review on 16. It looks gorgeous though.
It's a very pretty game.
It's very pretty.
I've
That's about it.
heard a lot of positive things about the game. A lot of people really enjoy it. I really like it. So I don't know. Like it's I don't know if I could recommend it offhand, but I mean, if you're looking for something that's going to showcase the capabilities of the PS5 from a graphical standpoint, I think this is a game to point to.
Yeah, I could agree with that one. Yeah.
So, my biggest thing about this game, because I was interested when they first announced it, but the behemoth, what do they call the Titan battles? The Titan battles seemed
Yes.
real
Yeah.
like scripted and like not as engaging as I would have liked it to be, and so that turned
And they
me
are.
away.
They are.
And they are, from what you tell me, from what people tell me. But a lot of people enjoy that, So I think this is just two different kinds of gamers interacting and just not finding common ground.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, I'm gonna bring it up again. I'm playing Armor Core right now, and that game is everything that I want in a video game. Let me fight stuff. Let me actually let this be a real thing, a real interaction, and not just this scripted sequence of like, okay, hit X now and you do your big move. It's like, no,
Yep. Yeah.
let me actually fight this thing. So, and I think people who enjoyed Final Fantasy 16 for those reasons, story reasons or whatever, probably would try Armor Core and would be like, they can't get past the helicopter boss.
His helicopter's too
So,
strong.
it's just different strokes for different folks. Whatever. If I ever get a PS5, I'll probably get Final Fantasy 16 just to try it. But I don't know. I think it's a good game. From what I see, I think it's a competent game. I don't know if it's for me personally. No. But anyway, let's move on past June and let's talk about July. So July was pretty. I would say healthy. We had Pikmin 4 for people who are Pikmin fans, Switch owners. I heard good things about this game, and from what I've seen, it looks like a competent
Yeah, the demo was fun. Yeah.
What would you call it? A game like this? Army command game or a party control game? I don't know.
I would say like a very dumbed down RTS, maybe.
Sure, yeah, RTS.
Maybe
I could call it RTS.
because you can have like your different Pikmin, like all carrying different things in different locations, and it's RTS-y, I guess.
Yeah, it is real time strategy, so it fits the bill. That makes sense. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's a great game. They added, I think, 3 new Pikmin to the roster with different abilities. Like there's the Ghost Pikmin now, and
yes, the Ghost
others.
ones. Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. It adds a little more layer and depth to the gameplay.
Yeah.
And Nintendo's notorious for solid game design, so I'm sure the game, it all makes sense. It all ties well together. And it's so generally well from what I've heard. So
yeah, Pikmin's always been a niche series. It ain't no Mario 100%. Or Zelda. Yeah. So,
but for a niche series,
well.
it did well. Yeah. It did better than Advance Wars, right? So,
Yeah.
I won't bring up Advance Wars anymore. I promise. So we also have Remnant 2. I haven't played it, but I heard nothing but good things about it, and I know you played it. So
that game's a lot of fun. It's kind of like in the same vein of Armored Core, where there's a story. It's obviously there's a story there, but it's gameplay first and foremost. Like you get a little tutorial mission, and after that, you're gaming. And it's a really competent third-person shooter. The worlds are procedurally generated, so each playthrough is different with different bosses and different gear. And it's kind of like in the same vein of games like Diablo and Path of Exile. It's all about collecting the loot, collecting the accessories, optimizing your builds, and taking on harder versions of bosses with those builds. So if that's the type of game you like, then Remnant is for you. And they just celebrated a milestone. I think they sold over 1 million copies of the game not too long ago. So that game is doing well. I think there's 2 expansions in the works. Nice. So that's more game, bosses, gear. So yeah, I'm I put Remnant down because I beat it a couple times, and at the point of this podcast, there's a lot of other stuff I'm interested in playing, but I will definitely come back to Remnant 2 when the first expansion drops, because that game is definitely worth its asking price, and it was a $50 game.
Yeah.
So $70, it's tough in the industry to make money. Hey, I don't know.
Just say, yeah, you're right. Like this game was
that's
pretty
that's what
awesome
they
for
keep
50
telling me,
bucks.
that games are expensive and they have to be $70 to make profit.
They
That's what I'm being told.
really, I don't think so. I mean, I think there's something to defend there, but like I don't think so. I think it's just the industry or certain individuals in the industry seeing how far they can take things. But that's
Right.
just me. Anyway, so that was July. August, of course, Armor Core 6, which is what I'm currently playing. You just finished it. We also have Baldur's Gate come out, which I'm purposely staying away from because I know a game like that would consume a lot of time for me. So
Yeah, man. That's gonna be my next obsession. Never really fucked around with D&D, so this will be my first, I guess, casual D&D experience. Um, we've all heard the bear sex. We all get the meme, haha.
mhm.
You can put massive dongs on your characters. We all get that. But I'm just kind of playing it for the RP, the role playing aspect, the Dungeons and Dragons aspect of the game. So, and the fact that I'm hearing people are clocking 100 hours just playing is like, wow, okay, so I'm gonna be here a bit. So, to me that kind of justifies its price if I get $100 of just straight gameplay out of it without looking for things to do. I can say, all right, $70. All right, I can dig that. So and I'm assuming the PlayStation 5 version is going to be good. I know there's going to be obvious some compromises between the PC and the PS5 version, but as long as it runs well and doesn't have any horrible like crashing or anything, I'm good. I'm fine. And Armored Core is like a great mech game. We don't get a lot of good mech games. Uh, Armored Core had a bumpy road with four, and then For Answer, and then Verdict Day just kind of existed. But Six blew up. I'm gonna have to say that the From Software name definitely helped.
Yeah.
From Software, needless to say, is a household name in the video gaming space nowadays. So that definitely helped. But if you kind of like look past the fact that From Software is developed this game, it's a really competent mech game. It's a lot of fun to play. So it's not just like, oh, the guys that made Elden Ring and Demon Souls. Ah, okay, so yeah, it's here's my money. It's like, no, it's an actual competent, well-made game in its own right.
Yeah, it stands on its own, 100%. Like it, I mean, the FromSoft reputation that has taken 15 years to develop. Let's not forget. Um, Definitely carries a lot of water for Armored Core success. I'm not denying that, but I
Yeah.
think just on its own, like if you sat down and you played it, or even watched somebody play it, you could see why this game is a cult classic, air quotes, or a sleeper hit. Some people like to put it to um, phrase it as, but like the game is incredible. It's such a fun, it's a fucking video game. Like that's the part that like blows me away is that it's just a video game. It's just a really fun game, and that's so hard to find. A lot of times, it's like, is this just a fun game, or is it like this political messaging, or does it have all these agendas hidden in the story and the character development, or is it like fucking a game crafted for like the lowest common denominator, so that it doesn't
Right.
even like
Yeah.
resonate with me anymore. Like it's hard to find like just a really good game that truly challenges me, interests me, and makes me want to play. The last game that I had that feeling with was Resident Evil 4 Remake. That's because Resident Evil 4 is fucking awesome. So like I don't get these experiences too often. So when I do get them, it's really like it's nice. It's nice to be in that room where it's like, everything makes sense here,
Yeah.
Last year that game was Elden Ring. So yeah, Armor Core 6, I could gush about it for the rest of the podcast. I won't, but we will be doing a Armor Core 6 deep dive at some point. Esoteric isn't here with us to record this particular episode, so we're gonna wait for him to like get further into the game before we have like a Armor Core 6 episode. So that's in the works. It's in the schedule, so look out for that. But anyway, let's move past Armor Core in August and let's go into September, which is the month that we're currently in, the month that this episode is posted on, and starting it off fucking hot with Starfield. So I'm just gonna run through the list of games. So we got Starfield, we got Lies of P, we got Mortal Kombat 1, and we have the Pokemon DLC for Scarlet Violet, Hidden Treasure of Area Zero. So I'll let you start off with the September titles. What are your impressions here?
All right, so the big hitter, or arguably the big hitter, is going to be Starfield. Now, I have no kind of like, I'm not pretty much. I'm not going to be playing it. My PC can't run that thing well. I don't own an Xbox. I'm really not interested in Starfield. I'm not saying it's Skyrim in space. That's disingenuous, but it doesn't look like it's my personal cup of tea. I could probably play it if you handed me the controller, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to get it. Pretty much. But I'm hearing good things about it. Like it's getting some pretty decent reviews on Metacritic. If you take you take their word from it. A lot of websites are giving it tens, which I think is a bit much. But hey, whatever. It's their prerogative. So good for Xbox peeps, man. I'm not the biggest fan of exclusives. I think it kind of segregates the gaming community. I know why these system developers do it. They're all vying for our dollar. So Xbox needs a solid first party hitter, and Starfield's kind of looking like it. So if that's your jam, cool. Power to you. I hope the game is phenomenal. Lies of P. I played the demo. A great Souls-like game. It's competent in its own right. It's not trying to be a Souls cash-in and ride that genre's coattails. Solid game. I like the theming. The fact that you're essentially playing as Pinocchio fighting other puppets. It's a weird concept, but it somehow works. So I'm looking forward to that one. Probably won't play it right away because Baldur's Gate. We just talked about that. So, but looks solid. The demo's great. Check it out. There is a demo if you're curious. I always respect games that release demos. Pokemon, not my thing. I tried multiple times. I should probably stop. We all know the launch of Pokemon, how that went. I'm not going to talk about that, but Pokemon fans, they like this Pokemon, and the DLC's coming out, more Pokemon, right? So casual, competitive people, they're going to have a field day with the DLC. So you know what? Hey, despite how the game ran, it sold like fucking Blockbuster, and hey, the DLC's there. Cool. It doesn't offend me in any way, shape, or form, so it's cool for it existing. And what was the last one you said?
Mortal Kombat 1.
Yeah, me personally, I have no interest. I've come to the conclusion fighting games are just not my genre. I grew up I went through most of my like teenage and 20s playing fighting games with Kong and the rest of the crew, and it was fun. I don't take that back, but it's not my thing. It's not my genre. I'd rather grind in like the forest to reach level 100. That's just a personal take. Um, you know, say what you will about how some of the characters look in Mortal Kombat. I know that's a thing that's being discussed on the internet, especially the females, but I'm not going to touch that. I'm just not interested in it personally. I hope it does well. Seems they're rebooting the Mortal Kombat franchise. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. I guess time will tell, right? Sales will show us if that was a smart move to make. But me personally, I have no interest in it. The only time I'll see it is probably when Esoteric streams it. So yeah, that's about it for September. My takes on it.
Yeah, I think September looks solid. Starfield is gonna, I think, dominate September as far as like sales and
Yeah,
conversations
for sure.
in gaming. I think
Yeah.
Liza P is gonna be a sleeper hit. Liza P, I'm gonna buy Liza P 100%. Will I play it right away? Probably not, unfortunately, because it's just finding that I'm still playing Armored Core, so still playing
Yeah,
that.
right.
I do want to check out Baldur's Gate. I do want to play Starfield. Like these things are just coming up back to back. So unfortunately, some things are going to. I'm gonna buy day one, but they're gonna take a back seat, and they just kind of wait for me. Mortal Kombat 1 looks like fun. If you're into Mortal Kombat, I'm more of a Street Fighter guy, so I won't be getting Mortal Kombat, but I know Esoteric plans to get the collector's edition, so I'm definitely gonna watch him play it and watch him stream the story and stuff.
Yeah.
And then for the Pokemon DLC, I have no comment. I did buy Scarlet last year. I had fun with the game for what it was, even though it didn't run super well. But I won't be buying the DLC as I have no interest in further exploring the world of Paldea. I'm good. So moving on to October. October is packed with a capital P with games coming out. So I'm just gonna run through the list and then we'll just talk about it. So we got Assassin's Creed Mirage. We got Lords of the Fallen. Not to be mistaken with Lords of the Fallen 2014, which is a piece of shit. This is a new Lords of the Fallen.
This is the redemption arc.
This is Lords of the Fallen 2023. We got Spider-Man 2. We got Super Mario Bros. Wonder and Alone in the Dark remake, which is something I'm personally looking forward to. So, what are your thoughts on those games, October titles?
So, Lords of the Fallen. I mean, I, you, I got the story from you on the original Lords of Fallen, and yeah, we saw some one night. We're just chilling, and we saw some YouTube playthroughs of it. Yeah, I can see what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I think this one is miles better. Like it has an interesting concept. The enemies look interesting. The world looks interesting. Weird that they kept the name. I guess it does have brand recognition in a weird type of
Not in a good
way.
way, though, which is
Yeah, but
odd, but
right,
like,
but
why
you
would
you
they choose that? But sure.
right, but I think like, hey, oh, Lords of the Fallen, isn't it that shit game? That's like a really big coin toss they're playing with that game. It's like, oh, that's the shit game. Why the fuck would I buy the new one? Or ooh, this one yeah, so I don't know. I don't work there, so don't ask me about it. Yeah, like I said, concept looks interesting. Much like you, I probably won't be getting it day one. Esoteric will be the experiment, and if it turns out to be solid, I'll probably pick it up when it drops down in price a bit. It will drop down in price, so that's probably when I'll pick it up. Um, Damn it, my memory is that of a goldfish. What were the other ones?
Assassin's Creed Mirage, Spider-Man, Mario Brothers Wonder, Alone in the Dark.
Okay, so Assassin's Creed, Spider-Man, and Mario Wonder. Me personally, not getting either of those. Any of those. Mario, I have a very weird relationship with. I'm the oddball that likes the spin-off Mario games. So Paper Mario, I am looking forward to Mario RPG. That I will more than likely be getting. But like the mainline Mario games, just not for me. I'm not the biggest platformer. I like certain platformers. Mario isn't one of them. But it's Mario. So it has to be atrocious for it to do poorly. So they're not going to need my money. They'll be fine. Assassin's Creed, I'm over Assassin's Creed. Uh, there was a little bit of hope when Origins came out and they changed the formula for Assassin's Creed, but then the Origins formula became the formula for every Assassin's Creed, so they just fell right back into the same ditch they crawled out of. So I'm not interested. I mean, if for any Assassin's Creed fans out there, I hope it does well for your sakes, but I'm not interested in it. And as far as Spider-Man goes, I played the first one. I didn't play Miles Morales DLC. The first one was fine. To me, it's one of the more competent Spider-Man games. Like the web swinging and the traversal felt really well done. The fighting felt like Spider-Man fighting, so it was enjoyable. I'm not a huge Spider-Man fan in the comics. I like him. I mean, I grew up with the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, much like you and a lot of us from that time. So, I have that kind of attachment to Spider-Man, but not like a hardcore comic book attachment. I don't have the same attachment to Miles. I know he's like up and coming, the cool Spider-Man. Cool. So probably won't be getting it. I mean, it'll probably be a $20 greatest hits game at some point. like the first one was. So that's probably when I'll pick it up. I have a PS5 now, so I'll obviously get the PS5 version. But day one, no, that's another one that I'm gonna be living vicariously through Esoteric, watching his streams on. So no shade on Spider-Man. It's just not my cup of tea. So yeah, minus yeah, that's about it. Yeah, it's
Okay.
kind of
So for me, the only game that I'm really looking forward to for October, at least games that I have like pre-ordered and lined up, is Alone in the Dark, which looks like Resident
yes, yeah. I
Evil
forget about that.
style
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
So I'll be playing the shit out of that game. Assassin's Creed Mirage apparently is going to take things back to the origins,
That's
back
what I'm
to
hearing.
the roots.
Yeah.
It's going to play more like the Ezio trilogy or whatever, which is cool. But I have no interest in Assassin's Creed anymore. I'm good. I mean, I have all the Creed games on Xbox, so like I have them there. If I ever feel the itch to visit that franchise, but like I'm not the biggest Assassin's Creed fan. So for me, it's just kind of a whatever. It's there for those who like it, cool. But I'm not one of those people.
Yeah.
Lords of the Fallen. I'm not gonna buy it day one, but I know Esoteric is, and I'm gonna watch him play it, and then depending on how that goes, will determine whether or not I pick it up later at a lower price.
Yeah.
So that's Lords of the Fallen. Spider-Man 2, I'm a big Spider-Man fan. I love the Spider-Man universe. I love the Spider-Man enemies. Venom is my favorite Marvel character. So for me, for most people, they would see this and go, well, this is a shoo-in for you. You would think that, but not necessarily. I don't have the PS5. I have no intentions of buying the PS5. I have an Xbox. Um, this game will find its way eventually on PC, number
It
one.
will. Yeah.
Number two, it also, if I ever do get my hands on a cheap PS5 in the future, to kind of retire my PS4 Pro, this game will probably be a $20 game, like you said. So it's like I could just wait till then. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything if I don't play it right away. And I have so many other things to play that I think I can live without Spider-Man because everybody and their mother's gonna play it.
Oh
Everybody and their
yeah.
mother's gonna stream it. I'm gonna watch Esoteric play it. He's gonna get the collector's edition, so I'm just gonna watch him play it, and cool. And that'll be my Spider-Man 2 experience.
Yeah. Same.
Straight up, Mario Wonder. I think it looks like a solid platformer. I probably won't get it right away. I think it's a game I will add to my library eventually, but it's gonna be a game that's gonna be available to me pretty easily over the next few years. So I feel like I could just wait till I see it used somewhere for $50, and if I get the itch to play a Mario game, it's like, okay, well, now's the time. So
But
that's
yeah,
kind of
cause
where that lands.
ain't no sale for that bitch.
Nah, you ain't gonna get it cheaper than 40, unless I buy it off a crackhead or something.
Right.
All right, so wrapping things up, let's do November. Let's just make it one big thing. Oh, let's save December for December's pretty light. So November's pretty big. November's got the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Could care less, but I have to
Not
mention it as
interested.
it is a big
Yeah.
title. Turok 3, which came out of fucking nowhere.
Fucking random. I feel like I have to play it because just like, who are you and where did you come from?
Yeah, like that's random as hell. Also a November title, we got pushed in November is RoboCop, which isn't gonna be a great game, but like I'm gonna play it for nostalgia reasons. Super Mario RPG, Star Ocean, the second story remake,
I am that
and
bad boy.
Like a Dragon Gaiden for those Yakuza fans and Like a Dragon fans. So November has a lot of like diverse titles. Like there's a lot of different kinds of titles coming out.
Yeah.
So what are you looking forward to in November?
Well, Mario RPG, buying that, never got to play it. Heard nothing but great things about it. Now's my chance. Yakuza, big Yakuza fan, played them all except Ishin because I just didn't get around to it. So not a complete fake fan, but gonna play Like a Dragon 2. Star Ocean, that's not even a fucking question. It's arguably one of the best Star Ocean games, Star Ocean 2. And this is an actual solid remake, not just we touched up the pixels a bit. Like they put work into this, so I'm gonna support it. Those three are a given. Purchased, done. COD, not interested. as certain internet figures have said, I've broken the Matrix. I have escaped the Call of Duty Matrix. Not interested. I COD is all about their war zone. Good for them. So I know like the COD multiplayer is gonna be kind of like bare bones because Warzone 3 is gonna come out. Mark my words. We all know it's gonna happen. So not interested in it. Maybe for the campaign, but if I'm unable to get a copy from the powers that be, I'm just gonna get it on sale, like super fucking sale. It'll be on sale just to play the campaign. That's it, if that. So yeah, the 3 RPGs getting COD don't care, and what was that for November?
Super Mario RPG, which you mentioned, and Turok
Yeah.
3. About it.
So Torok,
And RoboCop,
that's
I guess.
yeah. Well, Turok's in the same vein as RoboCop. Turok is a
Yeah.
nostalgia trip. Like I played that way back on the N64. I sucked at it. So I'll probably get it because it's just like, bro, it's Turok. Like this is like my early childhood. So they'll get me on the nostalgia. I just hope it's a competent game. Luckily I am an older individual now, so I have the ability to kind of look at things beforehand and go, it might be Turok, but the game's looking kind of rough. I'm not saying it will, but I can see that now instead of just buying it. Um, RoboCop. I mean, I saw the movies, saw the horrible reboot. Um, if you stream it, I'll watch it, but I don't think I'm gonna pick it up.
I might. I mean, that'd
to
be
be
kind of fun.
to be honest, I hope it does well for the RoboCop fans out there. I hope it does well.
Yeah, so November, while usually a really big month, which it is, it's still a big month generally speaking. But like for me personally, like it's just gonna be the nostalgia games. It's like, all right, I'll pick up Turok if it's good or if it's decent. Like it doesn't even have to be good. It just has to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
competent.
decent, right?
RoboCop, same deal, right? If it's decent, if it's a decent shooter with some like 80s and 90s fucking humor, good enough for me, right? I'm cool with that. And I'll probably pick up Mario RPG because I never played it either, and I heard good things about it, and I think it's a must have for your Switch library, so it's something I'll
I'd
definitely
say
add.
so. Yeah, yeah.
Um, and then Star Ocean, I never played the Star Ocean game, so I can't speak to that. I'm not a Yakuza fan. I've tried Yakuza and Like a Dragon games; they're not for me. And then Call of Duty Modern Warfare, I don't care. I'm so like
Yeah,
not
me.
interested
Yeah.
uh, that I'm not even gonna pretend to like give a shit about it. But for those who do care, I mean, hey, Modern Warfare 3, it's gonna
Yeah.
be
Hey,
a direct sequel, so
COD still prints money. So
so have fun with that. Have at it, Mazel Tov
yeah,
and all that. December. There's only 2 games on this list that I care about. One is just added on there just because. So December we got Dragon Quest Monster: The Dark Prince. I'm not a huge Dragon Quest fan at all, but this particular one is like more of a monster tamer game, which is right up my alley. So I'm interested in that just from a game design standpoint. And then we also have Avatar: Frontiers of the Pandora. So this is going to be like the tie-in to like the movie that came out earlier this year. It's going to be a first-person action adventure game in the Avatar universe. Avatar being the blue people, not the Airbender
not
people.
yeah, yep.
And Warhammer Space Marine 2 maybe comes out December. We don't
Maybe
even know at this point because they haven't fucking announced the date.
they gave us a
But
season in the latest GamesCon gameplay footage. So we have a season, and unless they push it to 2023, there's only one winter month in
2024,
2023.
yeah.
Yeah. So give me the fucking game, people. Come on.
Yeah, so hopefully that comes out because I that game looks like a lot of fun. It's also multiplayer, so um, that's a plus. And then yeah, that's it. That's December's like kind of like it.
I mean, they kind of blew their load in like September,
October,
October.
September,
So
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, any final thoughts about December titles or?
Well, goes without saying, I am super hyped for Space Marine 2. I hope it's fucking in December. Um, Yeah, I hope, because I'm itching to play that. That is one of the reasons I got a PlayStation 5. So hopefully December. As far as the other ones go, I mean, I hate to do this to you again, but what were they?
Avatar and
I am 100% paying attention. It's just I'm like it.
it's
These
okay.
names
It's
escape
all
me.
right. We're older, man.
Yeah.
Avatar and Dragon Quest Monster: The Dark Prince.
Yes, Dragon Quest. I saw the trailer for that at a Nintendo Treehouse. I don't even know if they're still calling them that, but that's what I'm calling them. Yeah, I've played some Dragon Quest games. I'm kind of like a modern Dragon Quest fan. I kind of hopped on a Dragon Quest 11. No, Dragon Quest 11. Yeah, 11. Was it 11 or 12? 12, because 11 was the MMO. So I jumped in there. So, fake Dragon Quest fan, I know. But this one, much like what Kong said, it's cool. I do like the monster trainer games. It's just Pokemon doesn't jive well with me. But other than that, I do like it. So
Well, you're
yeah,
a
for
big
that reason.
Shimigami fan, right? So like this is
Right, and that's essentially the same thing. Like
so
you have
yeah.
one titular main character, and then your team is made of demons in that game's case, and this one will be Dragon Quest monsters. So looking forward to that one. And the other one, Avatar, no, not really. I
It's
mean,
kind of whatever.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool for the Avatar fans. I've seen some of the footage. It looks competent. Um, cool. I
I
hope
like
it's
how
good.
the closer we get to the end of the year, our fucking enthusiasm slowly kind of dies down with like the end of the year. It's like, yeah, I guess this looks cool. Whatever. Like,
Yeah, it's like if I had a solid date for Space Marine, I'd be like, well, December is the best month of the year. Fuck every other game. I'm not biased at all. But we don't have an official date for that yet. It's just a guess. This is why it's here under the question mark icon. And the Dragon Quest game, it's just like there are so many solid RPGs coming out beforehand that I'm not saying it's going to be bad. I'm just saying it's like I might be playing those. I might still be on Star Ocean when the Dragon Quest Demon Prince comes out. So I'd probably be picking that up because I planned on playing it, but you know,
I mean, if
there's
it
just
didn't
so
come out
much
this year,
beforehand.
it wouldn't feel like. And this isn't a shot at the game. It's just there's so much other stuff that's like,
Yeah,
it doesn't
yeah.
feel like it's a game changer per se or like a deal
Not
breaker.
yeah. Yeah, it's like it's going to be fun. I know I'm going to have a good time with it unless something is horribly wrong with it. But it looks like a solid game. I'm going to enjoy it. I like the art style. I like Dragon Quest. So yeah, I have faith that it's going to be competent. But
You can
yeah,
live
it's at the
without it.
tail end. Yeah,
You
yeah,
can
I
live
could.
without it.
Yeah.
So, all right. So that's our 2023 recap slash excited for episode. I don't know what we're gonna call it yet, but that's kind of the idea behind it. I just wanted to take some time to like look at this particular year of gaming. Is it has been very healthy and just a lot of great stuff coming out. A lot of stuff that has come out. I think we're gonna look at this year in the future very fondly for its offerings. So
Yeah.
I just wanted
There's
to,
some big hitters that are out and are
mhm,
coming out soon. So
yeah. So I'm really grateful for being alive and being able to experience this stuff, and being healthy enough to actually play these games and being
through
fortunate
that.
enough
Yeah.
to afford them and engage with them. That's not something that everybody can say they can do. So I am grateful for that. Not that this is like a Thanksgiving episode, but I thought I'd just say that. Um, anyway, so if you enjoyed the episode, leave a like on it. Leave a dislike if you disagree with anything we had to say. Leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think. What are some games that have come out that you like? What are games that are coming out that you're looking forward to? What are some hot takes that you disagree with? Um, that sort of thing. Leave in the comments down below. Subscribe for more content. So we do a podcast every single week. Wednesday, we publish every podcast episode at 12 p.m. Eastern. So check us out for that. We also do other forms of content as well. So we do 2-minute reviews on various items and games. We do unboxing episodes. We do gameplay footage from our streams. Um, we also plan to do some other stuff too. We're going to do some like opinion pieces in the future in much shorter in much shorter packages, so like 10-minute, 15-minute videos, that sort of
Yeah.
thing. That's in the works. Um, Check us out on social media. We have Facebook, a Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, as well as a Discord. All the links will be in the description down below. So check out the ones that are applicable to you, and also check out our stream. So Mr. Esoteric, while he's not present for this conversation, he does stream on the main channel on Twitch, Logical Gamers TV. So check him out, give him a follow. He streams 2 to 3 times a week, and he streams a variety of games from indie games to AAA games to retro games to party games. You name it, he plays it. He is open to suggestions as well. So definitely show him some support and give him a
Yeah,
follow and
definitely.
check out his stream. So with that being said, thank you, Mr. Gunner, for a great conversation, and we'll see you in the
Thank
next
you.
one.
Have a good one.
Later.